Hey, Coach, I'm so excited you found us on YouTube. First of all, go subscribe and like. That means so much to us, and we're trying to get to 100,000. That's kind of our goal. Second thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to win more games, have more fun in less time, hundreds of videos, less than $1 a day. It's unbelievable. You get my personal email address. You get everything. You too can become a better basketball coach. Let me help you put some championship banners in your gym. So let me help you do that. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
That's not mine. All right. Welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops, episode
Coach
20.
Yeah, episode 20.
We're still in
Wow.
August. Still
in August.
I haven't started
And
school
after
yet.
since, as we discussed, April. Yeah, my kids went back to school. 1 week in. First dances tonight.
It's crazy how the beginning, like some kids in parts of the country start in August.
Yeah.
And some, like, I was telling you, Wisconsin doesn't start till September 1st.
And then you guys are out when, though? When do you go?
We're in June, middle of June.
Yeah. So we get out in May.
Yeah. I'd rather have it that way, to be honest with you. Everyone wants to get going in the spring. This time of year, everyone's ready. End of August, everyone's kind of ready to get back at it. All right. So this was your topic idea, right?
Yeah. So today's topic is on lessons learned of being a youth coach and what you would do differently, or what we would do differently looking back. So actually this idea came as I'm working on the basketball practice plans website, and I'm thinking, what's the ideal situation? Like, now that I have time, a lot more knowledge, kind of step back, seeing the high school players come in. If I had a magic wand and told every youth coach, at least in my community, please do this because they're coming in not knowing how to do these, X number of things. So basically lessons learned as a youth coach, what you would do differently, if it's something you would teach differently, maybe your practice plans would be different, what you focus on would be different. What are your thoughts on that, Coach?
Like I told you before we jumped on, I think I could do this for like 3 hours, but a lot of lessons learned. I think I thought I knew more being a high school coach, that the youth was going to be easy, and I don't necessarily think it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I could just at the younger ages, I would say elementary ages.
So K through kindergarten through
third or fourth, maybe fourth or fifth.
Okay.
I definitely probably would have kept more kids. I probably would have equally distributed the playing time a little bit more. I was pretty good about that through 8th grade. Just from a developmental standpoint, I think it's so hard because there's a lot of them aren't strong enough to do a lot of things. So I think I would have spent more time on ball handling, more time on things that they physically could do. When you're going from a 17-year-old to a 7-year-old, that's a pretty big difference. So I would have done that. I couldn't find a youth coach to take my son's team. So I was coaching my high school team and the youth team
at the same time. Oh, that's a lot.
For like 4 or 5 years. So in retrospect, I maybe would have spent some more time trying to find someone that could have done that.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been better for them and better for me, probably. Because you can definitely be thinned out a little bit. I probably would have played less and practiced more, especially at the younger ages, before 5th or 6th grade.
So less games. Is that what you're saying?
Less physical, like driving somewhere games.
Okay.
Probably more games in a practice, but probably more practice and fun things like that. I didn't tend to lose kids, but I think from a developmental thing, I think that would have been a good skill development for them, I think.
So fewer on the road type of games versus
maybe even inter squads would have been fine, but whatever. We didn't need to in 4th grade travel 45 minutes. We just didn't really need to do that on a week for the whole weekend kind of thing. And the hard part is when you're a youth coach and you're starting out, you don't know any better
Right.
sometimes. And you're excited and your kid's excited and you're like, oh, let's go
You
to
get the whole
this
future
house.
ahead of you. Like, he's
Right.
going
And
to
it's
the,
like,
he or she, you know, going to go to the next level and play. Already know this in 4th grade. Right. Yeah. I'm going to get a little bit more granular with mine. Spent way too much time on a offense,
oh
way too much.
gosh,
Like,
yes.
and not, again, I even broke it down into simple, very simple terms with them. But at the same time, like, what am I doing? Now I'm looking back in my older self, looking back at my younger self. If I could have just done one, more ball handling. If we had an hour practice, a ball's got to be in their hand. The only time it shouldn't be is when they're doing defense, right?
Right.
Something where you're constantly moving with the ball, becoming a better ball handler and
Because
shooter.
they can do that. They physically can do it.
Correct.
Like physically do it. Like if it's
Yeah.
the right size ball, they can do it. There's other things they physically can't really do.
Shooting threes, right? Depending on the age. But yeah, if you're, 6th grade and below, 5th grade and below, although kids are getting a little bit stronger shooting threes because that's what they want to do. But at the same time, it's, what's the purpose of a youth coach? It's not to win games. And I think a lot of youth coaches get lost on that, get caught up in this competitive spirit. That's the only way they're going to have fun, if they win, correlating wins with your worth, right?
Yep.
What are the parents going to think? Now let's talk about, and I think, as we talked about previously, there's 2 buckets. There's the YMCA, CYO, volunteer coach coming in, and then there's the other youth and the AAU paid coach and programs, right? So if you look at the volunteer coach side, don't worry about the wins. Make sure, number one is that they're having fun. Number 2, the fundamentals. That's all you got to focus on, the fundamentals. You're not there to win games. You're there to keep them in the game, meaning, right, years and years in the game.
Yep.
Ball handling skills, and the basics of shooting, not threes, layups and mid-range, passing. It's like all the fundamentals, reinforce that. And then if you're looking at the other side, the paid side, that's a little bit more difficult, because if you don't win, parents don't come back to your program and they'll go to a winning program, right?
Right.
But I also think you're doing those kids a disservice long term. One, they get burned out because the pressure that's on them, and you're putting the dollar before the health of the child and the development of that child.
Right. So there's a couple things I think that are big. Is the winning thing. I fought that hard in basketball, but I think it was harder in baseball for me. Like Little League was harder not to try to go get like. So I think that's something, as a competitive person, it's hard to fight that.
It is really hard.
It is. It's, and it's like they're competitive. Like a 5th grader can be really competitive. My son got good grades in elementary school, and
Yeah.
and in the only bad comment he ever got was his phy ed teacher said he was too competitive. Phy ed. That was phy ed. He got it like 2 years in a row, and it's like, oh crap, what do I do about this? Because I'm okay with too competitive.
I know, exactly.
Phy ed. Like, oh crap, is he? And then I asked, is he not being a good sport? Is he not he's doing all that? He's just too competitive. It's like, I don't know how I turn that off. Sorry about that. That's genetic. So that, I think you're right about that. I think, and I'm going to tell you, for the youth coaches of the younger ages, if your kid can ball handle, they're LeBron, they're Steph, they're Kobe, they're like, you can control the game at a 3rd and 4th and 5th grade level if you can handle the rock. You really can. You can control it, not necessarily score or do those things, but and I just think you're right in the sense that it is a skill set that they can work on, and it keeps them busy. And you've heard me say, don't be a kid's last coach ever.
Yeah.
That should be your goal as a youth coach. Like, I don't want to be your last baseball coach. I don't want to be your last. That means you didn't have a good experience. It wasn't fun. I do not want to be your last coach. If I'm your last youth coach, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it does happen. People
Yeah, of course.
sports, but you don't want it to do it because of you. So I think at those younger ages, Pac-Man, line tag, capture the flag,
Stuck in the mud. Yeah, all those different
you
type
got to
of
do
games.
all those.
Yeah.
And they love them, and give them a Smarties or a small Gatorade when you're done, and they'll think you're literally Santa. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I mean, yes. So it's like,
Well, the hard part of that, though, Coach, is it's like, well, the coach that I'm sharing the gym with on the other side, he's got him running a 5-out flex,
yep,
double
good for
horn
them.
hook
Yep.
pass, right?
Right. They're running Princeton. They're running
They're
the
running
Princeton.
Princeton
Yeah.
offense, right? And you see that, and then you're like, I guarantee you, though, in the end, you're going to have the kids with the better attitude. They're going to the ones that are going to be playing in high school because you made it fun,
and they're gonna
they
have
got the
more
basic
fun.
skills.
They're
Yeah.
gonna have more fun. So
Yeah.
fun, 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 fundamental, fundamentals.
That's right.
If they have
Fun and
fun
fundamentals. There you go.
and you teach them the fundamentals, that's what you should do. Now, don't get me wrong. When they reach late elementary, maybe they're a traveling team and they're 6th grade or so, things change.
Yep.
All of a sudden, we put in offenses and defenses and trap and deal with pressure. Yes, and there's going to be teams you see out there that look like they've been playing together since they came out of their mother. I mean, there are
certainly at 3rd grade seen it, right? Like,
I mean, you're going to go, what?
Yeah.
Have they been practicing every day for 3? That's going to happen, and it's hard to fight the, oh my gosh, those are outliers. They're not normal. It's okay. You'll be fine.
You'll love this. Started training this kid. He's from China. He's 7th grade. Are you ready for this? They trained 6 days a week for 2 hours every day. 6th grade. That's a lot. 7th grade.
First of all, the physical part of that's horrible. We could do a whole podcast on playing too much basketball. I mean, the studies are there. The science, like last night when I was talking on my my Rule of 3 offense webinar, I was talking about the science backing it. The science backs multi-sport athletes is better. It's better. Yeah. It's physically better. It's mentally better. It's social, emotionally better. It's everything. If they only play basketball, they're going to get hurt. I'm just telling you right now, they are going to get hurt. I
had an athlete call me on my team, and she's a freshman, and she asked, Coach, I want to do cross country, but I know you're going to have fall workouts. I'm like, no, go do cross country.
Go do cross country.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
Because there's a whole Twitter feed right now about multi-sport athletes and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they're good. Like, literally, some of my greatest teams, I had NFL football players on my team. They were playing in the NFL. They're that good. Yeah. But they played basketball because they were playing with their friends. It was fun. And it was fun. To be honest with you, all those NFL guys played other sports. Trust me, they did, because they did. They were doing shot put. They were in track. They were playing basketball. They were doing something, because it changes the dynamic. But that's all. Yeah.
Whole nother podcast.
Swimming doesn't. I always we're a swimming school, quote unquote.
Yeah, we are.
And I always tell the swimmers, there's no correlation between swimming and any other sport. And they go, what do you mean? I go, give me another sport like football and lacrosse, or football and rugby. There's things that are close, track, cross. What's close to me swimming down and back in water? In water. I said, just because you're a good swimmer doesn't mean you're going to be a good basketball player.
We just lost all the coaches that swim.
I'm sorry. It's true though, but it's true. It's a very unique thing. Like LeBron James could have been a tight defensive end in the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a correlation between his athleticism. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant could have played in another sport. Wesley Matthews, who played for me, who plays for the Bucks, was an all-state soccer player, unbelievably good soccer player. But he was using multiple things. So as a youth coach, you want them to go from youth to football to base. Well, we can talk about football, but baseball to whatever your sport, soccer, whatever it is, because it's teaching them other things, and it's so good for them. But anyway, that's a side note.
All right, we're going to move on to a new segment of the show, Coach.
Oh,
It goes
God.
right into this. Okay.
All right. This
2
was
seconds.
not my idea,
This
listeners.
is not coaches. So we'll see how it goes. Give us
Okay.
feedback. Leave it in the notes. All right. So it's score, sub, or timeout. I'm going to give you a topic. Okay. You're going
Okay.
to tell me if it's score, that means you'd keep it, love it. If it's
Score means yes.
Score means yes. Sub means you're like
Maybe.
maybe. And timeout is like get rid of it or
Means
right?
no.
No.
Yes,
right?
maybe no.
Here
That's
it
what
is.
I wanted to go with.
Yeah.
He wanted, okay.
Score, sub, timeout. Right.
Okay.
Part of the game.
Yep.
All right. You ready? Here's the
Yep.
first one. I'm going to give you 3 things. Or maybe it's too much time we have.
Yeah, we should do one. We'll do one.
All
We
right,
can do one.
We'll do one. Well, I already know the answer to this one. So how about I'll make it a little bit harder on you. K through 5. Okay, so think K through 5. Running set plays. Score, sub, or timeout.
K through what?
K through 5. Set plays.
Sub.
Sub. Okay, but why?
So my initial was that's a maybe for people listening. I was gonna go with timeout, which was no, but I think there are teams, and I've coached teams and I've seen teams that by the 5th grade level, they are ready for that. They're ready to be pushed. That's why I put it as a maybe. I would say most teams are a no or a timeout. Like you shouldn't be running plays.
So K through 3, maybe that's a timeout.
Yeah, that would be a time. You should, yes, you should teaching them to play and react and, set a screen and how to read a screen. There's plenty of things for you to teach them.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, when you put it to 5th, it's like, I've seen 4th or 5th graders that are very talented, and I'd be doing them a disservice if I didn't push them to the higher level, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's why I would put that at that, I think.
That makes sense. So K through 3 on plays, timeout, no.
Timeout, no.
4th,
4 or 5, I'd put as a sub, maybe.
Yeah,
for sure, I think.
Yeah, depending on the team, depending on the level of the team, how competitive they are, what their basketball IQ is. Fair enough.
All right, so we're gonna do one of those a week.
One of those a week. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Hot topics there.
Hot topics. All right.
Yeah.
Till next week, Coach.
All right. Till next week, Coach.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Second all, go check teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me help you put banners and stuff in your gym and become a nationally ranked coach, win more games in less time. Teachhoops.com is a community that will allow you to do that. Go over and check it out and go check the next video out. Bye.